And once we have the contact form in place, now, of course, let's set up the tags page, which at the moment has only a heading 1. And what we're shooting for is this look where we have the tags. Of course, these are going to be dynamic in a normal project, but in our case, we'll just hard code. And then once you click on a tag, then you navigate to that tag template page. And of course, this page we already have. That's why we have all the recipes in place. And as far as the setup, well, in here, let me go back to the tags and I'll do the same here. And of course, I'm already in the page, so I'm good. And we're looking for tags HTML. We'll close the sidebar for now. We want to remove that heading 1. We'll still keep the page. And what we're looking for is the section. And I'm going to go with tags wrapper. So that's the class in here. Let's add a comment. So single and then tag. And in this case, it's going to be end of single tag. So end of single tag. And then as far as the setup, it's going to be a link. Class will be a tag. And again, we'll hard code these values. And I'm not going to go over why we're hard coding the values, because I believe I have said that already more than enough times during this project. And where you want this link to navigate, well, to the tag template. Remember, that represents some specific tag and recipes that have that tag. And as far as the proper path, well, it is tag template HTML, correct? Like I said, we'll add a class over here and we'll say tag. And as far as the values, let's just go with heading 5 and we'll set it equal to beef. And as far as the amount of recipes, well, it's going to be a paragraph with 1 recipe. And now what do we want to do is just take this one tag, copy and paste. And let me take a look how many I created. I think I went with 5. So let me see. Okay, at the moment I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me copy that one more time. And now we just want to change these values. Where again, this is going to have 2 recipes. Then we have dinner, food, and all that. So let me scroll up. Let me make sure that I don't do anything with the first one. Okay, that one stays the same. For the second one, we're looking for breakfast. It's going to have 2 recipes. Then we have 1 for carrots. And that is going to have, I believe, 3 recipes. Then we have dinner and food with 1 recipe. So dinner with 4 recipes and then food with 1. And once the HTML is in place, now, of course, let's just navigate to main CSS. And we want to set up another new comment in here. So we'll go here with tags, of course. And this one will have a little bit more CSS than the contact page because, of course, with the contact page, the biggest one was the form, but we already had a bunch of styles in a global CSS. So let's go here with tags page. And then I'm going to worry about my wrapper. And again, it's going to be a 1 column layout starting with the small screen. And then as the screen size increases, then we'll also change the amount of columns. But that doesn't stop us from tags wrapper. So that's the entire wrapper. Then we go with display grid. And then I'm going to go with 2 REMs. So that's going to be for the columns and rows. And then padding the same deal. We'll go with padding bottom, 3 REMs. And once we have all of this in place, now, of course, we just want to worry about that 1 single tag. And the way we'll set up the CSS is going to be following, where we'll target the tag and we're looking for background. And in this case, I'm going to go with gray and 500. So that's going to be the default value. Then I also want to add right away a border radius. And of course, we'll use our CSS variable for that. After that, we want to go with text align center. So make sure that the text is in the center. Color white. I think that should look good. And then as far as transition, well, let's just use our CSS variable because when we'll hover, I'll change this color. And then we're pretty much done. I just want to set up the padding top bottom 0.75 REMs and left and right 0 as I'm hovering over the tag. Like I said, I want to change it to a primary color. So let's just grab the background one and place it over here. And instead of gray 500, we'll go with primary 500. Let's save that one. And notice as we're hovering, now, of course, we're changing the color. And we just want to add some margins 0 to the bottom of heading 5 and a paragraph. Because if you remember, by default, we have them there. So now, of course, we'll remove those margins. And I want to do for both for tag paragraph as well as the heading. So therefore, we'll go with tag paragraph, tag heading. And then, like I said, we're going to go with margin bottom 0. So both of them have no margin there. Also, I want to increase the font weight for the heading. So let's set up the heading here. And we're going to go with font weight. And let's just set it up as 600. Let's save. And as you can see, now, of course, the font weight is a little bit bolder. And lastly, we'll have 2 column layouts starting with 576 and then a 3 column layout once we get to 992. And since I want to save a little bit of time on a boilerplate, we'll just copy and paste. We'll set it up over here, 576. We're targeting a tags wrapper, of course. So the class is tags and wrapper. And since we already have display grid, we're just going to go with grid template columns, 1 fraction and 1 fraction. And now, of course, the only thing that's left to do is to take this, copy and paste 992, and then we'll have 3 column layout. And just because some people probably are annoyed, I'm going to go with repeat and let's just say 3, 1 fraction. So, of course, that is the alternative syntax that we can use. And now let me navigate to the big screen, looking for tags. That's going to be my layout. And once I click on a tag, I navigate to a tag template page. And with this in place, we really need to worry about that single recipe page, this one over here. And don't freak out about this error page. Essentially, when I was setting up the structure for all the pages, I just forgot to change it to a single recipe. If you take a look at the title, of course, it says single recipe.